Hey yo, welcome into a brand new episode of the Review at Rob Show. Appreciate you hitting that play and joining in for the fun of this show this week, man. So we're gonna be looking at the film, the new one from M. Night Shyamalan called Trap. We're talking about that, free of spoilers as always with reviews on this show because we like to keep it free of spoilers, obviously. And we'll talk some news, man. We got some Wizarding World stuff to talk about. We've got our mandatory horror news to talk about. We got some stuff in the DC realm to talk about, and maybe some other things to throw in there news wise to go over this week. So again, appreciate you jumping in to listen to the show. And let's, without further ado, let's jump into this thing. So Trap is rated PG-13 for some violent content and some brief, strong language. The film is at a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes, currently playing in theaters. It is classified as a mystery thriller film. The movie revolves around a father and a teen daughter going to a pop concert that the daughter is a huge fan of, and him being the dad of the year, he's taken his daughter to the show. Then they end up realizing while they're at the concert that there's something going on, something a little sinister, a little dark at the event. Cops coverage everywhere. There's SWAT teams. There's cops everywhere, including all around the buildings and all that stuff. And we lead from there to figure out what is going on with the things that happen in the event that they're at, man. So that's the idea. Let's go ahead and throw this in here. I did not do like most times with movies. I never read the synopsis honestly before going to see a movie. I see the trailer. I go to the movies a lot, so I see trailer multiple times. I saw the Trap trailer a couple of times in theaters, not as much as freaking Twisters. Let me tell you that much. Or that See No Evil trailer. Those two trailers played a lot, man. But See No Evil. Anyways, so I saw the Trap trailer a couple times, and it looked like a very interesting movie. I'm like, cool. This seems like an interesting time to check out. It'd be fun. Hey, look, Josh Hartnett's back. Let's see how all that stuff's going on. M. Night Shyamalan, hit and miss. Let's be honest with you. M. Night Shyamalan, very well known, and still living off of The Sixth Sense, and he's had some great things happen since then. Let's not cut the man short by any means, but there have been some movies that have come out that people have not been the biggest fan of. I have not seen all of his movies. I've seen a good majority of them. I haven't seen what was that? Old is his movie, right? I haven't seen that movie. At least I think it's his movie. It plays like an M. Night Shyamalan movie from the trailer I saw. But yeah, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Still haven't seen that one. But I did see Knock at the Cabin, which I think was the most recent film by him. And then, well, this is obviously the most recent film by him, but the one before this one. So I saw the trailer and all that. I'm like, oh, that cool. That looks like a good idea. But then I started worrying because as I saw the trailer more and more, I'm like, you're giving away way too much in this trailer. Um, and it's one of those movies where I'm gonna go ahead and say this as part of the review. If you haven't seen the trailer for the film, you're probably gonna enjoy this movie just a little bit more. Just throw that out there for you. Like I mentioned, I think the trailer gives away way too much. Um, which is a sad case for a lot of films lately. Abigail, a film I absolutely love this year, gave away too much in its trailer, and you're going to see that with movies these days. It's just they're trying to make trailers as long as possible to get people to go into the theaters, but and the process of doing that, they're kind of ruining the movie. So that was the unfortunate aspect with this movie is the trailer gave way too much. If I didn't see the trailer at all, probably would have enjoyed this movie a lot more. With that said, did not hate this movie, to be completely honest with you. I did enjoy it. It kept me interested from start to finish. I like the idea, I like the premise of we're going into a, a building, we're going into a coliseum where a concert is happening, and while we're at that concert's being used as a trap for a killer that's been going around, serial killer that's been going around in the area that's called the Butcher, which apparently that's just the name for killers. A lot of the times in some horror movies, immediately thought of Freaky that came out a couple years ago because that person was called the Butcher as well. Um, so that was, the thing. And I'm like, cool, that's an interesting idea. We're using a concert as a trap. Obviously, the killer's going to be there, is what they're thinking. Or they got to, well, I can't go into that. But that's the idea. And this is all stuff from the trailer. So I'm not really ruining too much for you unless you haven't seen the trailer, which again, sorry. But you're still going to do all right because I'm not telling you anything to do with the characters of the movie whatsoever. Just kind of the synopsis. So I did enjoy the movie. I had a good enough time with it. It kept me intrigued from the get-go. Like, it's a pretty easily moved along movie. Like, again, I think it's an hour and 45 minutes, and I will say it did go a little too long. Not even a little bit too long. It probably went about 20 minutes to 30 minutes too long. Like, I think there was at least one stopping point for me, maybe 2 points in that film where I'm like, okay, it can end here and it'll be fine. But they kind of just kept going, and then went to the point of it went too far, right? It went just a little bit too much of what? Nah, that doesn't make sense. It's like, no, we can't do that and all that. And I know with these M. Night Shyamalan movies, there's things that people are always looking for in the movies. I'm not going to tell you if it is or is not in the film, because again, that's spoilers. But yeah, just a little bit too long. But story wise, premise wise, good. Dialogue, meh. The dialogue is good at points and it's bad at points. What can you do? Seeing Josh Hartnett again, that's fun, right? I think Josh Hartnett took some time off for a while. I think I saw an article recently he stopped acting because of a stalking incident, which sucks. You wish these actors could get treated fairly, and people shouldn't be stalking anybody in general. But he seems to be having to come back. I think he was in. I still haven't seen this movie, but I think he was in the Nolan movie Oppenheimer, and I think he's starting to do more movies, which is fine. I know Corey Feldman goes out there with that song "Comeback King," but it seems like Josh Hartnett's that way. He's making a comeback and all that stuff. And that's not a shot at Corey Feldman by any means. Love Corey Feldman, the actor. Corey Feldman, the musician. Hey, you know, power to him. He's doing what he wants to do and he's having fun. So what can you do? But anyways, Josh Hartnett, he's good in the movie. Like Josh Hartnett's always been a good actor, and it's good to see him back. And I think he does a good job in the movie. The daughter in the film, it's a young actress, so I don't know much about her, but she's good in the movie. And the pop star in the movie is played by one of M. Night Shyamalan's daughters, and I didn't know. I should have assumed he had daughters. But like I said, I didn't read too much about the movie going in. All I knew was the trailer, and the only person I knew in the movie was Josh Hartnett. Like I didn't, I didn't know anything else about the film, especially the cast going into this thing. And stay tuned if you're still with me. We're going to talk about something fun with the cast that really popped to me, and wrestling terms popped, but really popped to me, and like, holy freaking crap, made me probably like the movie a little bit more, give me an extra point for the movie. But we'll get to that in a moment. But M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, which I'm going to butcher this name, and he has two daughters, if I remember correctly. He has more than two daughters, but two of them have kind of started to be seen in the spotlight a little bit. One is Ashani Night Shyamalan, is a director herself, and she had a movie come out recently this year called The Watchers. Have not watched it so far. I can't remember if it got good or bad reviews. Kind of seemed to come out and go away. But she is following in the footsteps of being a director. And the other daughter, the one that stars in this movie, her name is, and I'm going to butcher this as well because I suck at names, and butcher, hey, that fixed because the name of anyways, Shalika. She is like an actual singer. Like she's an actual pop star. I haven't heard of her, haven't run into her before this movie, but she is Shalika Shyamalan, or she just goes by Shalika as her American R&B singer, songwriter, actress name, and she's the pop star in the movie, and she's actually singing the songs in the movie. So good to her and all that. So I didn't know that going in. I had no idea, but good for her, and she's fine. She does a good job in the movie as well. So the cast overall is good. The story is fine. It's intriguing. It keeps you going. Goes a little bit too long, but the fun bit here for me with this movie, and again, harping on it again, but I did not look into much of this movie going in. I saw the trailer a couple times at theaters, and I saw this character briefly in the trailer. So I know that she's in the trailer, but I didn't click in my mind until I was watching the movie. And I was sitting there watching the movie. The first time you see this character, you hear her voice mostly, and I'm like, I know that freaking voice. Like, I know that voice very well. Like, that voice is from something I've watched a lot. And I know that voice, but it wasn't clicking for me. And then you see her character, and I'm like, okay, looks familiar. I have a very good idea who this is, especially that voice now, but it's not fully clicking. I'm immediately looking this up. And this is going to be, like I mentioned, a pop for me, and probably be a pop for some of you, depending on, your late 80s, 90s sitcom experience and all that stuff. But freaking Miss Bliss is in this movie. Miss Bliss from Good Morning Miss Bliss, which was later titled Saved by the Bell, one of the biggest shows of all time in the 90s. Miss freaking Bliss is in this movie. And as soon as I picked that up, as soon as I heard that voice, and I knew like I knew that that was her. Like in my mind, I'm like, that's freaking Miss Bliss, and I'm gonna confirm this after the movie because I don't play with my phone during a movie. Freaking, you're a psycho if you do that. But unless it's like, anyways, we're not going into phone etiquette in movie theaters right now. But I was like, Miss Bliss is in this freaking movie, dude, and that was so like cool for me because I grew up watching freaking Saved by the Bell, obviously, and Good Morning Miss Bliss was like the first season of Saved by the Bell, and it just transitioned into that name afterwards. It moved to Saved by the Bell and all that, and they had some of the same characters from Good Morning Miss Bliss in there as well. I think it was Zach, Lisa, and Screech. But that was so cool. Like that was an unexpected thing for me, and I was like, "This is cool. I enjoy this. This is fun. This is a fun extra bonus to a movie that is, honestly entertaining. It's entertaining enough. It's fun. The aspect of it, of the mystery, the thriller of it all, of trying to figure out, okay, how are they going to get out of this? Because you figure out who it is pretty quickly. It's not hidden from you. Again, if you've seen the trailer, none of this stuff is hidden from you. So going into it, figuring out all this stuff, going through the movie and all this stuff, it's intriguing. Kept me interested, mostly just to see how everything's going to unfold and how will they get out of it. How is this all going to work out? So intriguing, fun time. Didn't hate the fact that I saw this movie in theaters. With that said, I 100% support the idea of waiting to see this movie at home. Like this is a movie you could wait to see streaming. It's worth seeing. It's worth your time. Does run a little long, but it's enjoyable. It keeps you intrigued. It's interesting. It's well done. It's well put together. Run a little bit long, but enjoyable. So hopefully that all makes sense. When I do these shows, I don't write notes, I just ramble on. But uh enjoyable movie. It's not gonna crack my top 10. I don't even know if I have it in my top 20 of the films I've seen this year, but it's close. Again, that list isn't perfected. Like that's just thinking, quick thinking. I haven't gone in there and like meticulously wrote all these things down. Like the top couple films are pretty set. I know movies that will be in my top 10 for sure this year. Just the ranking of them aren't there yet, and we still have several movies to see throughout the rest of this year. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. I will gladly watch it again at some point in time. It was fun. It's intriguing. It's a thriller, and Miss Bliss is in it. What else can you ask for, man? So overall, enjoy the film. Obviously, I would want you to go see movies in theaters because you support the movie theaters and buy a drink or something to help the movie theaters stay alive. But if you want to wait to see it for streaming, makes sense. Like it's something you can wait to see in streaming for sure. So that's my thoughts on the film. If you saw it over the weekend, let me know your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments as well. But that'll do it for this week's review. So man, there you go. Let's see. So if we just talked movie real quick in horror, um, Nev Campbell has talked about Scream 7 a little bit. That has come out. That was one of the biggest news things in horror over the last week, and she basically said that Scream 7 will focus on the Sidney Prescott story, which, duh, obviously. Like, I don't think any of us, one, expected anything different because we know the Carpenter sisters are not part of this anymore. With what has happened with Melissa over there with that team, and then Jenna's. I still don't fully know if Jenna left because of what happened with Melissa or because of her schedule, which she is very busy. And I think Beetlejuice shooting schedule was something that was brought up as a reason she couldn't return for her, or Wednesday shooting, one of the two. But like, I mean, again, she's busy. So it could have been that, but obviously we knew the Carpenter sisters weren't going to be part of this. And I assume since the Carpenter sisters aren't part of it, the other characters that were involved with the Carpenter sisters won't be a part of this either. And we know Nev Campbell's back as Sydney, so obviously we would immediately assume it's a Sidney Prescott story. And then two, Courtney Cox, I believe, has been confirmed to return as well. So it's I don't want to come off negative about the Scream franchise because I do enjoy the movies for a good point, but I'm tired of this storyline building. Like, who is going to be the lost family member of Sidney Prescott this time, or who's going to be a family member of somebody that she killed that was portraying Ghostface in the past movie? Like, that's what it is over and over again with this franchise, man. Um, like, it's the same beats over and over and over again, which happens with horror films and all that stuff, but it seems just overly repetitive with the Scream franchise, if that makes sense. Like I'm tired of the Sidney Prescott story. Like we got a break from it kind of for a while before Scream 5 came out. It comes between Scream 4 and Scream 5, we had a break. And Scream 5 still involves the Sidney Prescott in it, but it's not fully focused on Sidney. If I remember, I haven't watched that movie in a while because, like I said, I am a little burned out on the Scream franchise. But if I remember correctly, the idea of the killers in that movie where they were obsessed movie fans and wanted to make the movie themselves or something like that. If I remember correctly, again, I haven't watched Scream 5 in a little bit, but if I remember that. But that was the fun thing about Scream 6 is that there's no Sidney Prescott in that movie. Like Sidney's briefly mentioned, I think, in that movie. It's the Carpenter sisters, and we're following the Carpenter sisters, and we're going through all that stuff. Like that is interesting to me. Like, okay, Ghostface, we know it as an idea, and Ghostface, of course, is attached to Sidney Prescott, but we can make other movies without, involving Sidney, man. Like it's I don't know. Like it's it's just it's that thing with that franchise where I'm like, I think we'll be okay if we try to branch out a little bit. Ghostface doesn't have to be stuck in that world. Like Ghostface can be a killer anywhere, right? But who knows? Jason's for the most part always in Crystal Lake, right? So and Michael's always in Haddonfield. All that stuff. I get it. I get it. It sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but there's just something about that Scream franchise where I'm like, I just need something different. And you kind of gave me that with Scream 6, but your problem in Scream 6 is you gave me some unbelievably stupid stuff in Scream 6, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, and I'm sorry if you like the character or not. I'm not gonna say the character's name, but that person would have been dead. Like there's no if I know it's a movie, I know it's a horror movie for crying out loud. That person would have died. That, you're not surviving what happened to that character. But hey, what can you do? Scream 7 is on the way. If you want to see it or not, I know there's still some people out there that are like, we're not going to see it. That's your prerogative. I'll end up seeing it, of course. But I'm kind of burnt out. Are y'all burnt out on the Scream franchise? Let me know. Or are you just a big Scream fan? You're like, "Cool, I'm in it," which is fine. Like, they're not wrong for that. It's just me personally, kind of tired of the Scream franchise. Just kind of tired of it. Like, I can do okay. Or at least I'm just tired of the Sydney aspect. That's nothing against Nev. Like, I get it. It's our franchise. But at the same time, it's Ghostface's franchise. Like, and you can just do the movie with Ghostface, right? You can just do that thing. Like, I said a couple years, oh, Sydney's no longer here, but hey, Ghostface is still happening in this freaking town. It's you can do that aspect. Like, we don't have to do the same thing again and again and again. Like, Scream 2 was family member related to the killers in the first movie. Scream 3 was long lost relative of Sydney. Scream 4, relative of Sydney. Scream 5, it's the same stuff over and over again. Like, give me something different. But yeah, Scream 7 will be the Sydney Prescott story again. So we'll see whatever long lost relative pops up in this one. We'll see. All right. Let's see. Going over to DC real quick. Filming has wrapped for Superman. The film will be hitting theaters in July of next year, July 11th, 2025. Super stoked and excited about all of this stuff that's happening with DC. We had a fun week last week with Comic-Con, and now filming is wrapped for Superman. So we're just getting that feeling and that ball rolling of getting somewhere closer to the DCU films beginning. Of course, we have Creature Commandos happening in December of this year, but super stoked and excited for Superman happening next year. Gonna be a good time, and let the DCU begin, baby. Let's see. Wizarding World. I teased it earlier. We do have some news going on there. The Quidditch Champions gameplay trailer dropped. The Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, not associated with the Hogwarts Legacy game. This is a separate video game that has come out. I believe our Throw Me Podcast Network buddies over there, Hunters Podcast. Zach played it. I don't know how he got the early access, but he's always getting free stuff. What can I say? But I'm sure he signed up for something, and that's fine. I have not got it yet. I think it comes out September 3rd. Sounds right. But it supposedly is free for PlayStation Plus people. So I have PlayStation Plus. I will get it free through there. But I'm excited for that game. That game looks really good. It looks fun. There's like a deluxe edition. You get like extra stuff for your house and all that stuff. Obviously, I'll do that to get my Hufflepuff on. But So excited. There's like a career mode and all that. Come on, come on. This is what we wanted. This is what we're wanting. Man, so excited about that. Talking about things that we wanted. Switching over to theme parks here. Since our last conversation, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic was officially revealed as the last land of Epic Universe, the new theme park that's being built over there in Universe's beautiful, beautiful theme parks in Orlando. Epic Universe being the big new addition that's happening over there, opening next year. And we finally got some details on this final land and all this stuff. They released trailers talking about it like they've done with the other lands. They released a fly through like they've done with other lands. And I, of course, cried my Wizarding World eyes out watching those things because I love this stuff, man. I love the Wizarding World. It's so fun, and just I just talking about it recently with my buddies. Like playing Hogwarts Legacy takes me a long time because I know the game came out a while ago. I haven't finished it because one, the wrestling game came out and distracted me, but there's also just lack of time to play games. But when I do get it, and I want to get back in there with Hogwarts Legacy, I'll probably start over with Hogwarts Legacy. But when I was playing it when it came out, I was just it was taking me forever because I'm just walking around Hogwarts, enjoying everything, like loving everything I'm doing. Like that's the dream for like Wizarding World fans. We all have this stuff. So call me a nerd all you want, but you have it in your fandom, whether it's Star Trek and you wanting to be on the Enterprise and walking that stuff, or Star Wars wanting to be on the Millennium Falcon and flying it, all kinds of nerdy stuff. We all have it, man. We all have it. So like that was it for me. And I was just walking around Hogwarts a lot. I did some of the missions and all that, but for the most part, I'm just in awe the whole time playing the game. And once I get back into it, the same thing's going to happen. But I'm still excited to see where it all goes and just be back in that world, anyways. So, anyways, um, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic was announced. Just some brief stuff on it. It's going to take place from the 1920s and the 1990s. So we got the 1920s Paris, which is the Fantastic Beasts films, and 1990s British Ministry, which is, of course, the Harry Potter films. So you're going to get to experience those, and you're going to encounter fantastic beasts as you explore the Paris park of the park in 1920s. And then you're gonna take some freaking Metro Flu, dude. Metro Flu effect. Again, watch these videos. Look so cool. Look so cool. You're gonna take some Metro Flu to go to the British Ministry. Like there's a thing that they created to make it seem like you are actually doing what they do in the movies with the Metro Flu. That's all freaking cool. So you're gonna take that. You're gonna go to the British Ministry to be in the 1990s, and you're gonna be with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. You'll travel over there, and they have the big event right over there for the park, where Dolores Umbridge has been set to stand trial. You'll board a lift. You'll join Harry, Ron, and Hermione as you journey down deep into the Ministry's many departments. A thrilling adventure, fantastic beasts, and unexplored mystery await in Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, man. So lots of fun stuff. They've also announced over there. You can check it all out on Universal's website, or you can check out again the videos that they have released of that land. But oh my God, so excited for that, man. I'm so excited to experience that next year. Can that come soon enough? Hopefully, the the annual pass will obviously I'm gonna have to add that park to my annual pass, but hopefully it won't cost a lot, but it probably will. But worth it. Worth it for the happiness, man. And last bit of news to talk about before we get out of here. This is going to be for select folks. I understand this, but this is a show that I've absolutely loved and enjoyed since it's come out. And we're going to be getting it sooner with That 90s Show. Part 3 has been announced to move up its release date from October 24th to August 22nd. The 8 episode part 3 will be, of course, on Netflix. I've enjoyed this. That 70s show, even though there's so much controversy involved around that show with what's happening with Danny Masterson and all that stuff, which I understand. I love that show to death. Like that is one of my all-time favorite shows. So when they announced that 90s show, I was excited. One, because we're getting back into that world, and two, I grew up in the 90s. So seeing the 90s stuff again is just watching that show and reliving stuff that happened in the 90s and all that. Like there was a Spice Girls episode recently. I'm like, freaking A, man. I remember this. I was going through this. I was freaking in love with the Spice Girls back then. Still love them, actually. Still listen to quite many songs of theirs and have a good time. But I spice up my life every now and then. I do, and my life has been spiced up since the '90s. But I enjoy the show. I'm glad we're getting it sooner. That just shows that the show has been a success over there at Netflix, and they're getting it out sooner to capitalize on it. And even more to add into things I love that's part of the show. Freaking Jay and Silent Bob are on this show. Like freaking Kevin Smith and Jay Muse are on this show, and it's just fun times to be had constantly, man. So August 22nd, couldn't come here soon enough. So excited to experience that show, get back into it. I've enjoyed both parts already, and part three will be here soon enough, man. But that is going to do it for this episode. Again, if you saw Trap, I'll give you my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on the film. Freaking Miss Bliss. um, Scream franchise. Oof, the next Scream movie will be a Sidney Prescott movie, obviously. Let me know how you're feeling about the Scream franchise in general. Superman has wrapped. We've got some Harry Potter game play out there. The new game will be out next month. Wizarding World hitting the Epic Universe information, and that 90s show is hitting sooner on the Netflix than expected. So all fun stuff, man. As always, appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble on this show about things that I love and geek out about, and hopefully you have a good time listening to me geek out, man. I love doing this show, and hoping you love listening to the show. I try to make it as fun as possible. Um, but I'm not outgoing person, so I might be coming off a little. I don't know. I have no idea. I talk when I do the show. I talk more on the show than I do in real life. But nonetheless, man, things to look out for. I do have the hype list coming up on Haunt Us podcast. We got a group of people putting a hype list together for Halloween Horror Nights. Trip is it's almost here. Like freaking the Unmasking the Horror Tour starts next week, like for people, and be on the lookout for that. Like there's people who I've seen on social media say that they will put a content warning before their stuff. Those are upstanding people. There are some really annoying people out there who will put spoilers out there. So be careful of that. If you don't want any spoilers of houses, the tours will start next week. The event itself starts in a couple weeks, right? And we're there. And then the trip that I'm taking, we're about a month and a couple days away from. So fun times to be had. Super stoked and excited about that. Ready to get going. Need to get my legs ready to go. Don't know how much I can do about the weight by then, but get the legs ready for all the walking. But so excited, man. I love Halloween Horror Nights. Love being part of it. But yes, that is happening this week. We have our hype episode coming out soon. So we're gonna do that. It's gonna be fun times. Always get hyped up. I need to actually put that together now that I'm thinking about it because I have not done that yet. Weird year, interesting year for Halloween Horror Nights as far as houses go, and scare zones apparently because there's one that's being built, but they have not told us a thing about it. Which makes me wonder, is it even a scare zone? Who knows? We'll find out. But things are happening over here on Thrilling Podcast Network. If you haven't yet, please hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. We're always pumping out the content over here on the Thrilling Podcast Network and having a good time. Check our Patreon out as well. All kind of fun stuff going on there. I sometimes do something over there. I have the ideas. It's just getting the time to record them. But I'll have something out pretty soon. To deal with Netflix, bringing Flix it back, baby. So we'll have that out pretty soon. But other than that, that's going to do it for this episode. Appreciate you as always listening into the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, the week, month, year. And just remember that you are important. You matter. You are capable of amazing, amazing things. Just believe in yourself and know that happiness can always be found, even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.